Welcome to the Incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast, where intuitive movement educators Burns and Stephanie Y Jolivet help you to embody spiritual concepts in order to embrace your physio-energetic wholeness. And now, let's get to the episode. Welcome back to another episode of the Incoming Radiant Wellness. I am Stephanie.
I am Jem.
And we are the Incoming, and today's episode is really dear to our hearts because we are wordsmiths, and today we are focusing on language and words. And Jem, where in your life and how are you partnering, dancing, moving with words?
Yeah, I would say that words, because they're an expression happening in the throat, they become a part of your reality in that exchange, in that dance with reality. So when you bring a level of conscious awareness to the words that you're speaking, right, then we are playing with the vibration of what is occurring in our experience. I feel in this now moment, actually, I am more consciously aware of the words that I'm allowing to exit my vocabulary because either they're not necessary or they're registering at a different vibration than what I want to speak at. So an example of some of those words would be the word but. Anytime that but comes into a sentence, it seems to negate the first part of the sentence. So it's almost like this trap door that I find myself in, that I'm no longer wanting to resonate with that word. So I'm utilizing a different word source. So I might say and in its place, or take a pause there where I was going to say but. Other words that can kind of be against what I'm actually moving towards are words like can't. I can't do that. It's already claiming something in that space. Before I even have a chance to do it, I've already stopped myself. So can't is a very powerful word. And as we utilize it in that way, we won't be able to do whatever because the word itself is stopping us in our tracks for what we have the potential to move through. So words have this vibrational tone that allow us to play with the frequencies and alchemy of how do I change this sentence. A lot of that also is happening in an intentional practice where I'm sitting with my day and really determining how I want it to go specifically with words.
When I love that word "and" is such a powerful word, and it's brings up and consciousness. So when you start with a phrase and putting an "and," this can exist and this can exist, and that is as succinctly put as "and" consciousness is. I can be partnering with words and letting go of some. I can be excited. For me, we're moving back to the States, I can be excited to move back to the States and feel a bit of heaviness from leaving France, for example. So that word "and" is I'm laughing because it's a conjunction, and there's this little ditty, conjunction, junction, what's your function? Hooking up words. And then hooking up words to our vibration. And it's so beautiful, and it has to do with abundance. This, and this, and this, and this, and this. When I asked Justin Tilou, mon fils of 4 years, a little over 4 years, what do you want? Well, I want this, and I want this, and I want this, and it's wonderful. So it also brings in that abundant vibrations. It's also something where we can, and I love that word, and maybe I'll ask you a direct question about it, but alchemy and alchemizing. So how are you alchemizing? Maybe you can even tap into that word for us. How are you alchemizing words?
Yeah, when I think about alchemy, it's shifting, it's the pivoting, it's taking something and creating something else from it. Uh, with words, sometimes I'm stopped literally in my tracks. I'll say something and have to rewind the tapes. Steph and I do this a lot, where it's like when you put a physical, like, blah, 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 I'm catching myself, right? Because I'm in that loop and I'm about to continue that path. And I'm working, because the conscious work is work, right? There's a process to it. It's not just I wake up one day and I'm conscious. It's I have an awareness first, and then I can start to play. So I play with slowing down, because sometimes we can just be talking really fast and excited, and that energy is all intermixing, and then it comes out here through the throat, where we express emotions here, we express words, all of it is intoned here in this beautiful mouth vibratory force, right? But see right there, I'm like, I'm gonna do it in real time for you all, like blah, blah, blah. So now I can embrace. And the alchemy gives us the opportunity to create a different structure and to challenge the mind to come with a different way to present the words. So if I'm seeing things in my reality that I'm not really loving, I can start by silencing myself, because I am more than likely contributing to what I'm seeing. So it's number one, figuring out like, okay, I don't like this reality, what's going on. Silence, to allow myself to really pause, take that breath. We say this a lot here, take the breath, take the pause, because when you pause, you don't just get into that reaction template that we're so used to. It's the awareness. You start to stop in your tracks and belong to a different space. So then the alchemy is what I'm creating on that inside that pause, inside that chamber of my soul then, right? It's a space where I can really organize myself to allow what is coming out of my mouth next to sync up with a vibration that I am walking towards or walking through. I'll give you an example. It is a word that I'm working to alchemize, is the word work. Because work in our collective consciousness has this very powerful vibration. And it's usually very negative, because a lot of people do not enjoy the work that they're doing. So it's like, you got to work hard, all these words go with work hard, work more, like all of this. So instead of saying work, I say I'm evolving through this, or I'm not working on this, I'm evolving through this. It shifted the experience. And so that's a way to play and kind of achieve a different way through.
And work is such a powerful word, isn't it? There was a time where it was one that I was moving away from. And then if we allow that word to partner with something like loving work, or work lovingly on, or work devotedly on, then wow, look at how that changes even the way that I say it. Work becomes this almost orb of light rather than work. Like you said, work hard, work. That is the narrative that work entails. So it does take that beautiful pause that Jem was just taking, or just actually literally just taking and giving to us, or as that reminder, to feel into the embodiment of whatever words you are partnering with. And work is just an interesting one as well. Maybe we can play with that for a couple beats. And maybe in this way. So I have a client who helps you with your speeches, public speaking. And it's wonderful. And so we work during our Pilates sessions, and we talk which is also part of this loving relationship that we have, this loving work that we're doing. And he suggested that words are innocent bystanders, one session. And I was like, that's true. That's really interesting. You go to a dictionary, we give words meaning collectively, and why can't we give it a different meaning individually? So if we were to take that word work and place it outside of us, I was thinking about this. If we are partnering with words, and I was thinking of like a partner dance, when you are in partnership in a dance, you are very close, but there still is a second body outside of you that you are responding to and feeling. So words, we can do that same sort of action with. We can place that word, like literally pick it up, put it outside, and then we have some distance from it. For example, this word work that we are working lovingly on, evolving through. And then for me, I see it's like, okay, so I'm emanating my vibration. What am I emanating through work? Oh, I don't want to. Oh, I feel inspired. Ooh, whatever it is. And then that vibration moving through the word to sync up with the frequency to then figure eight, because j'adore le figure eight, that it pulls back in through that word. So the more consciousness we put in our vibration, i.e., how and why we are speaking the words we speak, then we can sync up with that frequency and, like Jem said, alchemize it into something that feels better in our body, that feels better in our life, and that we can see and feels better in our reality as well.
Yeah, you can alchemize it and change the word. You can reclaim it like what Stephanie was just doing and put lovingly with it and harmonize it with something that has a higher vibration, a higher registration, so that you're moving through the levels. Because I think what happens for a lot of us is that we have a vernacular. We have words that we use commonly all the time. You have words that you use, and unless you're maybe a speech coach or you're reading a lot or some way getting impacted by other words, you're recycling, right? So again, it's this way to dance with life where you see this experience unfolding, or like maybe it's a fear that you have to try something new. Try is another word that has, I'm going to try to do that. So if I'm going to try, there's already in that word try, there's already in that vibration a possibility that I can't, right? So that vibration then is going to vibrate like this in your field. As you are trying, it's already going to give you that polarity of the attempt may not happen, right? So you can change that. What I would say, I have to weave out the energies, because the energies can be very, I keep doing these. I'm sorry if you can't see me because I'm looking for the word that this means. Yeah, come to YouTube because it's happy hands over here, where it's like a wobble. It's like a wobble that can take you off your mark, or it's going to lead you down the path where you're not going to be able to do it. And it's like, then it's evidence that you can't do it, right? So that keeps you in that I can't place, where if you evolve the word try, or instead of I'm going to try to do that, even just saying I'm going to do that, you just delete the word try, because we tend to, or I'm going to say for me, I tend to overuse words. So it's how do I give myself in this way that's true and also succinct, because there's so much that is unnecessary. So it's like what happens in life when we have so many things that are unnecessary in the house, we have clutter. So it's a way to declutter by becoming more aware, more in tune with the words that are a part of your vernacular. And we're allowed to change the vernacular that we have. We can rearrange and release some of those words and gain other words and start to really dance in a different style. because you're going to see the reality reflecting through the spells that we're speaking, right? The spells are the words. So it's so powerful to move in this way, in this dance, in this harmony, and in with this consciousness that we can have with words themselves.
The spells are the words and the vibration they carry. And the reason the word carries that vibration is our relationship to the word. So I was thinking a lot about money. I was thinking a lot about money and abundance and financial wealth. I've actually been working lovingly and consciously with that intention of really receiving financial wealth. And what I'm going to move back to what I was saying about taking that word outside of you. So money, I'm going to pause there, like money, oof. Look at that word. How does it make you feel? And I'm actually asking you, take a moment, how does money make you feel? And if I place money outside of myself and really see, I can even write it on a piece of paper and look at it. And so it's literally outside of me. Then I can begin to unpack my relationship with it. So now I've done a lot of that really conscious, loving evolution, evolving through that. So now I can sit with that and be like, yes, I like money. Money feels good. There was a different version of Stephanie who wasn't as receptive to that word. And it did take that offloading it, finding it in that neutral space of the figure eight where that cross exists, to then really feel into what is holding me back, or why do I feel anxious about it? Is that mine, or is that my parents' story? What beliefs do I have about money? And so I've been vibrating at a different frequency. I've been able to hold a different frequency through my shifted vibration by offloading this in some ways, this poor word. It's just a word. It's just a word. We would write it on paper. It's black and white. It's just letters on a page. And it is just a vibration. It's a vibration that now I understand, I can sync up with guilt-free, anxiety-free, because of this other loving work I've done on myself to really unpack and offload and become lighter, to be able to receive that abundance that money can provide in one facet of my life. I find abundance in so many other ways. Words as spells, as vibrations, and as these innocent bystanders of our own beliefs. And I am going to bring in Abraham Hicks here, because I have not heard anyone else explain beliefs in such a succinct, beautiful way, which is a belief is just a thought you keep thinking. And then this is what Jem was saying about the alchemizing, that when we begin to consciously partner with words and realize, this word holds this frequency. How does that feel in my body? I don't like that. What word can I feel that feels a little bit better? And that once we can gain that consciousness, then it really is a partnership. It really is this. I love that you use the word vernacular. What a fun word. That's a vernacular. That's such a fun word, that you can create your own vernacular to call in your own reality, regardless of how other people are using those same words.
Yeah, I love that you brought in money, because it's such a great example. Money is just an energy. It's neither good or bad, but we've assigned it through our relationship. So it's a really powerful word to understand where you are in that dynamic. There are heavier words in our collective consciousness that we've assigned this power with. And so with those words, it's not an impossibility to shift the vibration of the word itself, because it is through this lens of your own personal exchange with the word. But when a word is laden with so many, and when the word is laden with so many of what everybody else has put in to that word, it can be a more challenging climb away from that word. So the alchemy or the practice or the play is in either shifting the word, harmonizing the word with other words. And so it becomes this intentional practice where when we say, I'm setting an intention, right? It's like, what does that mean? What is going on here with the intentions? It just means that I'm going to create words in a conscious way, so with my awareness, so that I can create a reality that I want to see. So it's a way that we also are integrating ourselves as belonging to this space. We live in a very physical place. We're dense, we can feel our bodies. And because we're physical, having a physicalness to the evidence that we see can help us along the journey. It's like a point, a reference point, so that we can have a reference for where we're going, right? If we don't have that reference point, it can be very ungrounding, right? So words also help us ground into the moment. They help us ground into what are we doing? Where are we going? How are we moving through it? We're going to move through it with our words. Our words come almost first in the way that we express, right? There is a whole other expression happening in the universe of yourself. All these energy dynamics are occurring in your body to create the world that you want, the desires that you have. And so if there's a desire outside of you that is not all the way caught, right, with your magnetism or your field, you're not already in that co-creative process. How now do we dance? How do we bring? Words are so powerful because they're coming through this throat chakra, which I think all of the chakras are so powerful. But the throat, and I will say, but the throat has this way that we express. It's literally how we express motion. It's how we get things to move, right? So as we utilize this as a resource, we start to belong to which words are serving us, which words are serving you. If money, your relationship to money right now is not, it's not plentiful, or when you hear that word, or work, if these words make you cringe, it's a sign for you. That's an information, that's a data point. Ooh, you know what? I didn't like when I checked in that minute ago on that word money, because it didn't make me feel good. Okay, well, it's a word. So let's come back and work the relationship now. Because when we start speaking and we're adding to the words that are out there and we just keep saying, I can't do this, this sucks, this is my life, we're literally giving fuel to the fire that we don't even want in our life. Yeah. So the way to not belong to all the devastation that can be our reality. Trust me, I know. I've seen it in my own life. That it is about becoming more and more conscious. That is the evolution of the human species, is to become more and more aware of what is transpiring. And words are a way to ride that train of thought and express it out to make room for the things that you want.
Yes, 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 yes. And then words then become that bridge to that future self or that future version or that future person that you want to meet or whatever it is that you are desiring to call in. And I love what you were just saying and started with the word intention. And that's how words become the bridge to where you are and where you desire to be. And that is okay. I desire to be even more expanded. I desire to be more regulated. I desire to be a better mom. I desire to be all these things. And so intention is a great one, because to live intentionally is to live consciously, like we're talking about. It's also to live in tension, Ali or ally, to live with your challenges, difficulties, densities, heaviness as your ally, then we can partner with them to bridge that gap between where I am and the tension that might exist on where I desire to be. Tension also has this really beautiful, there's this term, tensegrity. And it actually comes from biomechanics to describe structures and structural integrity. And then this person named Dr. Stephen Levin adopted it to become biotensegrity, to describe the stability and mobility of living organisms like us and our body. And then the gyrotonic and gyrokinesis method, that's actually how I was introduced to it, adopted it again, this tensegrity, to define the process through which all that yawning and all that expansion is building stability and mobility in your body. And we here at The Incoming have adopted it one step further to simply be living in the integrity of tension. Knowing that tension, challenge, difficulty, problems, whatever word you would like to use, is part of your experience here. And then I'm going to, it's like this Russian nesting doll, continue to unpack that. Integrity is a really beautiful word with different words. In the middle of integrity is grit. And it does take grit to stand in your integrity. And grit, here is a sacred acronym, a sacronym for you, God's radiant intuitive truth. God, source, spirit, higher being, core being, inner being. Again, whatever word you resonate with. God's radiant intuitive truth is simply that you are love and that you are here to love. So to live in the integrity of tension is to be in love with tension as much as you are in love with ease and flow. Because it's about balance, friends. It's about balance. So to set all the way, putting all those nesting dolls back into the one, to arrive back at setting intentions, like Jem was saying, is lining up, aligning with those words as your friends to bridge, and think of it as a suspension bridge, a tension bridge, to acknowledge the consciousness of where you are now. And then that bridge will lead you to that next version or that next person or place, thing, money, whatever it is that you are calling in. That's what intentions do. Through these words lining up on your behalf to allow evidence of that new version to easily walk across that bridge.
Yeah, I love that you have this way with words to take a word to create other words that belong to that word, because words hold so much power. It's the language, it's where we speak. And so for me, it's recognizing where is the power, right? The power is in the words. The power is in the expression. That's where it comes, right? It's here. It can be with your energy, and it's like a little bit more subtle, I would say, than your words can be really sharp, right? We've all been on the other side of words that didn't probably feel good. And in that exchange or in that dynamic, wow, it's tough to let go of words once they're already spoken. So identifying the words that can be the ally, be on that bridge with you to your highest timeline or to your future self or to the things that you desire. And we're speaking that into the truth of who we are now. So it's an embodiment of the words. When we take it and we wear it on our bodies, then we can fully participate in the strength and the structure of the things that we're saying, because what we're saying should be
There's another
Once
one.
we're cultivating, I know. I'm breaking rules today because I know we always joke, don't shit on me. Uh, However, in this context of belonging to the words themselves, they can change your reality because you're using. Oftentimes, what happens is that we're using that old vernacular, the words that we already know, the words that we hear, the words that are not even our words, by the way. Maybe they're your mom's words or your brother's words or somebody else's words. They're not even yours, but they're in here because they're just bouncing around in the space that is you. The relationship that you have to yourself then is the integrity of your being, right? It's like, are these words my words? Are these words I want to utilize? I am in the practice of really looking at the vibration of words and how that vibration is affecting what I'm seeing in my life. And if I am not enjoying what I'm seeing, then I usually go into a state of silence to stop whatever that momentum that is happening on my behalf through my own self of adding more fuel to the fire. And so, because we mostly all speak words, it's important for us to recognize which words belong to our truth and which words do not. So that dance and that partnering and that also that space that Stephanie's talking about, that space to bring the words outside, for me it's in a journal. It's getting the words outside of my head and putting it onto paper, because then I can see what's going on. I have a physical manifestation of what's inside. When it's all inside, it feels like alleyways and I can get lost in there. There's a lot going on. So when I can see it, then I can start to work with myself in a different way.
Thank you for that. And I love that you keep saying belong. What words belong to me? And it's I see like a big magnet. You know those U-shaped magnets with the red? It's like this, okay, come on, words, like which ones belong to me? And then so it's a way of also even just saying that, what words belong to me? It's like, here I am with abundance and love, just like we're hanging out like in a community. It's like this real tangible way for me to see belong. What words belong to me? So it's making me think, what words do belong to me? And I don't know. I don't have an answer, but it's like, oh yeah, thank you for giving us that word. Because there's something about magnetism in there, belonging. And it also really is this, I really was resonating with what you were saying about, is that mine? Is that my mom's thought? Is that my family's? I've had that all throughout my life. And recently I've realized, wait a minute, what am I doing? Like that thought isn't even mine. I want to like pluck it out Harry Potter style and like leave it over there. Because it does have to do, and you talk about this, Jem, about scripting. We are scripting our lives. So we can script it in any way that we want. And we do that with the dialogue that comes out, and with whom we are dialoguing. And I'd like to bring us back, actually, just for a moment, to silence. I used to love when I choreographed, and I still do, actually, I don't used to, I still do, without music. In a silent studio, no one else. And I realized, oh, that's what I loved about grad school. I did an MFA at Riverside in California, and I just had access to these massive studios. No one was around. I could like lock the doors, shut the curtains, and just move in silence. Silence is so powerful, and it's powerful because it can be unnerving. It's like, what am I going to fill the silence with? Well, do you have to fill the silence with anything? Sometimes we might, because that filling of it serves our nervous system that is perhaps unwilling, unready to sit in that silence.
Yeah, I love silence. And I realize it's funny to be in your own experience and then have friends and people that are having their own experience. And silence is one of those things that, what a beautiful word already, right? Silence.
Silence.
Especially if you can pronunciate it all the way through. Silence. It allows you the silence, because it's never really silent. There's a humming of the electricity.
There's your heartbeat,
Yeah, exactly.
your
There's
breath.
the movement of my hair on my dress. There's not just silence, but it's a way to come in. Without the way to come in, if we're constantly with earpods on, listening to podcasts, music, books on tape, whatever it is, it's still a transmission in to your sacred container. There's so many things that we have access to in this day and age. And when we can partner with silence, we belong to ourselves in that moment. We belong to our thoughts, our feelings. I get it. It's sometimes in silence, all of a sudden I start thinking about all the things I need to do, and I feel this anxiety coming over me. And it's my work to evolve through that atmosphere, to find my way back through. And when you can partner with silence, feel all the things and move through that process and get to the other side of the process, because when you get to the other side, there's a feeling of accomplishment there perhaps, or, oh, that wasn't so bad. Or now I know how to work with my system. I learned something along the way.
I still have a lot of loving work to do with my throat chakra. And yes, so we can always learn. Silence is very important for that, to show us where the blind spots can be.
It's the balance, is what you were speaking on earlier. It's the balance when we're so inundated, because we are in this modern time, we are inundated by a lot of stimulus, a lot of occurrence is happening outside that can activate our attention. When my phone dings, I get a dopamine release, and woo, it's making my body feel good. But if I cannot access my dopamine without my phone dinging, because somebody wants to have access to me, when I can create that for myself, woo, now where is the power? The power is not in the phone, the power is in me. And that is what we're here to do at the Incoming, is bring you back to yourself, because we know where is the source.
Yes. Words are one way to create sovereignty. And wow, thinking about that already makes me slow down to be in conscious dialogue with them. And I do love that you brought us back to what we do here at the Incoming, because the foundation is everything. And so once you recalibrate to your center, to your source energy, then those words will naturally flow from your throat chakra that will express your highest desires and bring them to you with the path of least resistance. That is the essence of what we do here. And the more that you do that, I'm going to say it one more time, recalibrate to your center, because from there, that center of love, once you emanate love, well, that's all that's going to be coming out, not only of your mouth, but of your pores, of your eyes, of all of your sentience. And from that place, it will be very easy to sit in silence when something does not jive with you, and to be able to express fully and deliciously.
Yeah, I love what you just said. It's a way to come in. It's a way to calibrate. When I think of calibrate, I always see a lock, like those old locks that they go all the way to a dial, and then you get to a number, and then you have to go the other way. There's such a precision in calibration. In my journey, I would say that that has been my work. Is I'm a great calibrator. I can calibrate to a system because I understand how to take a pause, how to be in silence, how to see, how to adjust myself, to arrange. And so all of that dynamic that I'm explaining with words is a powerful way to embody, right? Again, we're back with the words and the embodiment, because it's all happening in this structure, in this vessel, to allow you to navigate your course and belong to the path that is yours, and not feel that it's outside of you or somebody else is corrupting your path or it's already predetermined and you have no choice. There is a choice point, and the choice point comes from the words that we choose to speak.
Thank you, everyone, for joining, for listening and watching. And please leave your comments below. Let us know what words you are dancing with and how this resonated with you. We will see you next time. Gros bisous.
Ciao.
Thanks for listening to the incoming Radiant Wellness Podcast. If our vibration resonates with you, subscribe so you never miss an episode. If you would like to join our community, theincoming.co, click the link in the description to gain exclusive access to our weekly classes, monthly offerings, intensives, and courses. Until next time, shine bright, radiant beings.